So since the other day I forgot to hit record when I did these loose watercolor poppies, I thought I would try again to make a video about those. So we're actually recording this time. I haven't recorded with this setup before, so fingers crossed it works out and I'll end up with a video to share. So we're gonna do some loose watercolor poppies like that, because poppies are my favorite, so I really I really like working on them and trying to learn how to paint them. I've been practicing at them on and off for a while, and this last one here was the first time that I ever really found some that I like. I got my watercolor palette set over here out of the way, and I am mostly going to be using the color that's just left over in my mixing palette side thing over here. Just trying to get that paint used up out of there. I have sprayed and wet down this paint, and I'm going to get my brush wet. Got a little spray bottle of water. I'm just gonna spray some water onto the paper and see what happens. Now, I have been watching other painters, watercolorists, do these, and some of them have like really old, worn out, scrungy brushes that seem to do like really well for this technique, but I currently don't have one of those brushes, so we're just using what we got, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So what I did last time was just put the brush down and just kind of push it and waggle it on the paper and just let pretty much just let the water do its thing with the paint. Probably got a little too much water on my paper, and that's okay. If you feel like you get too much water on your paper, you can always just take like a paper towel or some whatever and soak some of that water off. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal at all. Let's see. Let me put the shape over here and just kind of see. I think the scrunchier your brush is for this particular technique, the better it looks. And if you know, like I said, just dab up some of your color, some of the water if you think you have too much on there, and then just go back in and drop more color in there. And we're just going to pretend like we know what we're doing. And it's okay if we don't know what we're doing, because we're just playing in our journal. So, and then take one of these round brushes and just kind of like, if you feel like any of your edges got a little too harsh, kind of like this one over here, you can just go through, add some water. You can, oh, see this here, there was some blue color on my mixing palette that also got in there, so we'll just gonna rub that blue in and just blend it in there, and look, now it looks like that. So, but yeah, if you feel like it's you don't like the shape of the edge or whatever, it does not matter, just go. Spread some of this color around for the background a little bit maybe. And then once I have like a basic sort of shape, I like to go in with a little more color and then just drop it in there and kind of decide like where maybe the darker part of the flower is there some petals that overlap each other or something. You don't know. Just add some more color in there, and you want to do this while the paper is still damp so it moves around a little bit, and just kind of put it in there and see what happens. These don't have to look perfect. They don't have to look like, I mean, we're hoping I almost said they don't have to look like anything, but we are kind of hoping they look poppy-ish when we're done. I suppose that is kind of the goal here. But yeah, just let the colors go and blend and work together and just make whatever kind of shape. And if you ever feel like you can always dab more water on to let things flow about the space a little bit if you want to. And you can always use your paper towel or whatever to dab water or color off if you end up not liking something. And you can also take stuff off with your brush too. If you dry off your brush a little bit, you can take stuff off in that way. So I do try to keep in mind a basic general idea of what poppies look like. But again, we're not trying to be perfect. We're not trying to be realistic. So when you have that part done, when you're happy with how your petal bloom part looks, I mean, you can keep going and adding in color, and to make sure you're getting lots of shadows and dark areas and places where the petals overlap each other and things like that. For as much as you want until you are happy with whatever you're doing. That's the important part, is that you are happy with how it looks. Or at least feel like you've done the best that you can. And of course right now they just look like blobs. They don't look like flowers at all. It just looks like a blob. So then what I like to do is get a dark color, a dark brown color, get some of that like on my palette, some darker colors, and start going into where the center of the flower is. And if your flower might be angled where you cannot see the center, then take that darker color and start putting it in down at the bottom of the flower. And at this point, our paper will be starting to dry. This one's pretty wet still, so that's okay. And then, let's see, what do we got here? Let me put some mix some gray into that, so we're just slowly building up the area that's either going to be, sorry, the light is glaring on my paper, so I'm having a hard time seeing what I was doing. What is going to be the center-ish of your flower. Or, you know, the bottom of your flower if it's angled in a way that you're looking. And if you are finding that this layer that you are adding on is just running and blending out more than you like, you can give this a moment to let it dry. You can hit it with a hair dryer or something if you want it to dry a little faster. If something gets where you're like, oh, I really don't like that, just go in and, you know, dab it out. So I feel like this one's a little weirdly shaped there, but you can always go in with some of your whatever color you were using and add that. Add those colors in whatever way that you like, and just take your time and add your colors in layers. Let things dry, let things be a little darker, whatever. And then you can also take a green color, and I'm just using like whatever, I don't know, I could look and tell you what shade of green this is, but add a little bit of that in there, especially if like when you can see the bottom. And then if you want to put the pods in, this is how I've been doing them, is just like making a shape like this and then painting it in and trying to make it a little bit bigger and make sure you get like rounder at the bottom, and then just a little bloop on the top. That's it. That's that's all I'm doing for these. And do some that like kind of, because the seed pod part of poppies can be kind of like heavy and it'll bend the stem up so that you get like some droopy kind of stem. So I like to also put some in that are tilted or, you know, bent down. And just, you know, so that then when you go to put the stem in, like the stem comes around like this, and I'm trying to be careful not to touch, just to give you an example. So like that, and then you know, just in there. You can put leaves in if you wanted to, and just like, especially at the bottoms, let that green get in and mix in there, and then do little green bottoms on and bring it down and just whoop, And you do have to be careful because right there, if that was too wet, those would have bled together, and then that's not fun. Nobody likes that. But yeah, just drop them in there. This one was so wet when I did this center. I'll let that dry more and come back into there probably. But I want to with the light glaring on the wet on the paper, it kind of makes it difficult to see what I'm doing. Just a little bit difficult. But yeah, just keep layering in and fiddling about until you have something that you're happy with how it looks. That is the important part, is you being happy with how it looks. So yeah, none of this is about perfection or making like this super, realistic poppies, obviously. But really just having fun and playing in your book. So like this, I really don't like that edge there, so I'm just gonna rub some water on there. Take some of this harsh line out a little bit. Just do whatever. Do whatever makes you happy in your sketchbook or art book, art journal, whatever you want to call it. So I still would like to get that a little bit darker. I'm just going to add more color in there. Like this. Like again, I can hardly see what I'm doing on the paper. It's actually easier if I look at the screen. So I might not have that center quite angled just perfectly, but like that, it does not matter. And so something that I like to do once my pages are dry is to write a quote or a little bit of something, affirmation, something about how I'm feeling or whatever at the time. Like I didn't do it on this one over here because I was having a hard time deciding what I wanted to say. But yeah, so it doesn't take very long. These are of course still wet, and it's going to take some time to dry, but that's it. Just take a brush, squiggle some paint down onto the paper, and put some centers on it, put some seed pods, whatever. It's fine. It's practice. It's for enjoyment, for self-expression, for getting ourselves out of our minds and into our bodies, right? So if you end up doing some loose watercolor poppies or even some other flower or something, let me know. And if you want to see more videos like this, comment and let me know, to be sure that you see all my videos and keep up with whatever I'm making. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and then also down below I will put the link to my Substack, which is where I have my newsletter, and so that way if you would like, you can get emails for all the creative things that I'm doing, updates, notification about when my podcast episodes go up and things like that. So Substack's really like a good all-in-one hub place. So I will put the link to that down below if you would like to subscribe to that. But for sure, if you are like what you're seeing and want to see more things, click the subscribe button, like and follow, do all those things. Oh my gosh. I hate having to list out all that stuff, but it's super important for those of us artists and creators who are just trying to pay our bills and like everyone else. Okay, thank you for watching. I hope you come back again.